Well, welcome in. Didn't mean to cut the music off there on ya. I wasn't really prepared. I wasn't prepared. I wasn't ready yet. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing this evening, I guess? It is 7:41 on the East Coast. So I'm a little late. I'm so sorry. But thanks for coming in. Thanks for being in the chat tonight. Hello, Ladybug. Hey, Marta. Thank you for your kind words. I appreciate that. And thank you for being here, Ladybug. And thanks for everybody that's coming into the chat, joining the chat. I appreciate it. If you're watching on a replay, hashtag, replay so that we know, hashtag in the comments what you think is the most disturbing part of this case, because there's plenty to choose from. We'll go over a little bit about what we've kind of read over, and then we'll go back into the documents. I was going to skip a little bit, but it's like when I went to skip, there was just so much stuff that I felt like needed to be told. A lot of it was like what happened in the cabin. So, that's stuff that we want to know. So welcome in. Hey, CJK. And hello, Crystal. Welcome in. And while you guys are coming in, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're from if you're new to the channel. Let me get my hand sanitizer here and we'll get started. We're going to get started. But hey, everybody, again, welcome back to the channel. My name is Tanya, and this is Titanium Built True Crime. You can call me Tanya or Titanium Built, doesn't matter. But a couple days ago, they unsealed major court documents in the Anna Kepner case with her stepbrother, Timothy, and we are going over those and reading into it. It's very disturbing. So if you are, sensitive to essay or something like that, maybe sit this one out. It's pretty disturbing what we read the other day. So in this stream, I'm going to read through the second half of the documents. Hopefully we'll get through the second half. But we're going to get through those with you live, breaking down the timeline, the witness statements. We've got surveillance footage, details, and the prosecution's claims piece by piece. So according to the newly unsealed transcript, it's a transcript, prosecutors laid out a very detailed timeline of the night Anna died aboard the Carnival Cruise Horizon. They claim surveillance footage shows Timothy Hudson entering the cabin minutes before Anna entered, and prosecutors allege that she never, ever left that cabin alive. So the transcripts are going to go over CCTV movements throughout the night. Anna's phone, allegedly, we saw that we read that it got discarded. It was following Timothy's phone. Anna and Timothy's phone were in the same location. Then all of a sudden he drops her phone goes in the trash, and then he walks away. So I just want to let you know, these are all allegations as of right now. He's innocent until proven guilty, but we are going to go through the documents and we are going to read them, and they're going to be good. So, hey, PKC, I do see you. Hey, Canvas, welcome in, guys. Welcome on in. And I did pin the panel link if anyone wants to come up, because I know that it's going to be this document, something else. Let me see if I can get this off. How do I do that? Oh, I bet I just do this. Okay. Okay. I actually could have wrote on this document too. I didn't know that if you do it on the computer, you can actually, I downloaded it. And then when I downloaded it, I tried to put it on Patreon for you guys, but it wouldn't let me. I don't know why. So I'm going to have to have Vincent figure that out. So we heard from Miss Lopez, and she was for the prosecution. She's for the state. And then we're going to hear from Mr. Cohen, and he is for he's for the defense. He's going to be there talking for Timothy. So he's going to conduct the cross-examination that we just, previously went over. So it's kind of going to be like a little, it'll kind of like a summary. Oh, it'll be like a summary, So, and thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys coming in and hitting the like button. It really does help the channel. As long as we get the likes up, the video goes out to the algorithm. It's free to do. Also, I do have a goal. If you want to donate to the goal, you want to donate to the channel, truly appreciate that. Becoming a member is really, really, really good way to, to support the channel, or gifting a membership to somebody. And I am going to be on the second channel tomorrow as well, because I forgot to gift out the last 5 memberships we have for the month over there. And I think that we gifted them all out over here. Or no, I still have 5 more. Well, look at that. We'll be gifting out some memberships tonight. Okay, let's do that. Okay. If you guys are on best behavior. So it says here, if this is Mr. Cohen, he's going to be, like I said, for the defense. And it just says, good morning. Good morning. Based on the timeline that we just heard from the government, almost 16 hours passed between the time that the victim, who I'm going to refer to as A, just because it's simpler. I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Her name is Anna. That's hard for you. A is okay, but Anna is hard. Okay. And the person said, sure. So was last seen entering her cabin and the time that her body was discovered. Is that accurate? And let me put you guys over here again, the chat. Oh, I can see y'all. There we go. Oh, thank you, Ladybug, for sending the sunshine jewels. Oh, that's so sweet. Thank you guys. So nice. Okay, I can see them when I'm on the screen. So then it says, yeah, I would say so. There is no direct evidence that there has been developed during the course of your investigation that indicates the precise time of death. Is there? And they said no. And I think me and Tracy were talking about this earlier, and I think I know where this is going to go because there was another person in that room that night. Remember, 13-year-old, brother. I hope they don't try to put this on him. So it says no. Okay, there's obviously no cameras inside the cabin that reflected what was occurring there, right? That's correct. Yes. And you were present at the autopsy along with the doctor who performed it. Is that accurate? I was. Yes. At no time did the doctor indicate to you a precise time of death, did he? He did not. So again, we're talking about over a 16-hour period of reference in this case. Is that fair? Yes, that's fair. Okay, so we haven't seen the videos, obviously. We are early on in the case. How would you describe the quality of the images? I would say very good. Going back to the timeline, so between 7:30 when A enters the room and 12:09 that you've been or the government's been referring to as minor witness 1, let's refer to him as C. That's his first initial correct. That's going to be the brother. And they said, sure. Again, it's a little easier to say or deal with, okay? So during the period of time, T, my client, is in the cabin. He's been in there a majority of the time. Is that correct? Yes. But he's not the only person in the cabin during that period, right? Let's put aside for a second. C was also in the cabin for at least short periods of time. At most 2 minutes, but yes. But also he was there twice. Twice, yes. Okay, one at 7:51, where he told you later or told law enforcement later that he saw his half-sister there at the time, right? Yes. And then somewhat later, 11:21, so a couple hours later, he goes back again and he claims later that he doesn't see his half-sister there at that time, right? Yes. Okay, so now is there any indication at all that after 11:21, when he goes back to the cabin and doesn't see A there, that he tells his parents or grandparents who are also on the cruise about his sister not being in the cabin? She's 18. Can you repeat that question? I'm sorry. Maybe it was the way it was worded. Hmm. So, okay. They say no. 11:21, he goes back to the cabin, correct? Correct. He knows that his sister has been in the cabin the first time he was there, right? Yes. He also knows that his sister, his half brother, to be exact, had excused herself from dinner because she wasn't feeling well, correct? I'm not sure about if he knew that or not. Well, wasn't he at dinner according to your investigation with the rest of the family when she excused herself because she wasn't feeling well because of her braces? Yes, but I'm not sure if she shared it with everybody at that time or just her parents. I'm not really sure about that. I'm not really sure about. But in any event, his sister's in the cabin earlier. It's getting close to midnight. She's not there. He doesn't alert anyone to the fact that she's not there. Is that fair? Yes, sure. And he also doesn't alert anybody to the fact that there isn't something unusual about the appearance in the cabin. Is that also fair? That's fair. Okay, according to the proffer, who the fuck got a proffer? Him? Some bedding, whether it be sheets or blankets, were stripped from the bed, one of the beds, right? At what point? Sometime during the course of the night, almost 16 hours, some bedding was stripped off of the bed. No, the bedding was stripped off the bed by the cabin attendant. Oh, when they found her? And it says, well, wasn't the body found wrapped in a blanket or sheets? Yes, it is my understanding that those blankets Those were the blankets that were typically in a closet. They were extra blankets. There was also some indication that there were life vests in the unusual posture beside one of the beds, correct? I wouldn't say unusual posture. They were there originally. So there was nothing unusual about the appearance in the room. Well, the life vests were always found in the other side of the bed, not under her bed. So those life vests were moved to be placed in front of her body because they were never there. They were never there throughout the cruise. Sorry, my cat just walked across me. Okay, but that wouldn't have been apparent to anyone who wasn't working on the cruise ship, right? Right? No, yeah. So if anybody had walked into the cabin who was not an employee or attendant on the cruise ship, they wouldn't necessarily know that there was anything unusual there. I would agree with that. And then the proper was that C returns to the cabin again at 12:09 on that Friday morning, and then he remains in his cabin for the next 9 or so hours. Is that also correct? Accurate. Yes. Now when he returns, he claims that he asked T, or T asked him, sorry. So now when he returns, talking about C, he claims that T asked him to remain outside because T was changing his clothes, right? Yes. And that he remained outside for no more than a minute or two. I think it was about 2 minutes, yes. And then he gets out of the cabin at about 9:20. Was that accurate from what you recall? You don't have to be exact, but sometime. Somewhere around 9 AM, I would say yes. And again, he doesn't see his sister or half sister in the cabin, does he? He doesn't, and this is when and they cut it off. So he doesn't claim to have seen his half sister in the cabin when he gets up and leaves the cabin at approximately 9 AM. And I always thought that was weird too. Like, why didn't they go and get Anna for breakfast, right? Like, you got the whole family. Where's Anna? Her braces are still hurting her mouth. The girl's got to eat breakfast. Like, where's Anna? I don't know. If I was her dad, I would be asking. So it says, and again, he doesn't report that to his parents or his grandparents about anything unusual about his sister, half sister not being there. And I said that too. Why didn't he just knock on their door and be like, "Where's Anna?" But then again, she's 18. He didn't find it unusual. So this was inside the cabin. Yes, I have never been on a ship, but been on some cruises. Inside cabins are generally fairly small. Yes. And were 3 people staying in that cabin. Yes. So although C thought it was unusual that T would not let him in the room, he doesn't know what is going on inside the cabin at that time. No. Okay, and certainly if at that time T was in some way trying to conceal the body, would he have had 1 or 2 minutes to find the blankets from the cabin, wrap A inside of them, carry her from the bed, put her under the mattress, and put the life vest where they were found later? No, I wouldn't. I would disagree with that. Okay, what part would you disagree with? Well, he had been with A for about 2 hours from 7:30ish to about 10 PM. When he returned to the room later on that evening at around 11 something, I'm sorry, I don't remember the times. There is nothing telling me that's when he decided to hide the body. He could have done that right before during those 2 hours, and he was just finishing up whatever he needed to finish up in those 2 minutes. Okay, so C has a key to the room, right? Yes, true. He could have returned. I think, okay, real quick. This is what I think. Okay. I think when C knocked on the door, I think she was already concealed, already like put away, like put under the bed. And I think that when C tried to get in the room, that scared Timothy and he wanted to double check, like double check the room. You know what I mean? Just to make sure there was nothing that he was going to see. I think that's what I think. I don't think he was hiding her. I think he already did. It says he could have returned at any time, right? Yes, you have to answer. I'm sorry, I apologize. Yes. And obviously, T doesn't know C would be coming back to the room. He does not know. So during that period of time that you just mentioned, at any time, T could have walked into the room. I mean, C could have walked into the room, right? Definitely, yes. Walked in the door again. And still, what I described would have taken more than just a couple of minutes to take place, right? I would say so, yes. Okay, so you have an opportunity to read the autopsy report. Somewhat, yes. The report indicates that A weighed 109 pounds at death. Oh my gosh, she was so tiny. She was tiny. Oh my goodness. I didn't realize she was that small. I thought, I thought she was like, you know what I mean? I don't know how much I thought she weighed, but she was tiny. Oh my goodness. Hey, Machi. Hey, Mary Beth. Hey, Lenora. Hey, welcome in, everybody. It's good to see everybody. Welcome on in. And I wanted to tell you guys, I didn't you guys weren't on the last live real quick, I'll tell you. Thanks for the kind comments you guys leave all the time. Like, they really lifted my spirits today when I saw the comments in the comment section, so thanks, guys. If you ever needed to pick me up, just come to my comment section, we got you. Okay, so it says here, it says, "Do you recall?" It seems about right. And also in terms of moving the mattress, you recall that the steward that first went into the cabin had to get help to lift the mattress because it was so unruly. Well, she was a female, a small female, but yes, he is a small male, right? Sure, yes. Okay. So then the court says, "Just so I'm clear, you said that T was in the room from 7:30 until about 10. Is that right?" And the witness says, "Yes, Your Honor." Love that. The court says, "At what point did C try to get into the room?" The witness says, "A little after midnight." And the court says, "So it was after?" And the witness says, "Yes, sir." I wonder if this witness is C and he has a proffer. I don't know. The court says, "Was there any attempt to get into the room between 7:30 and 10 by C?" Well, I guess not. No, the witness, I don't know. That's weird. "One time he showed up with his friends and he was there for about 30 seconds and then he left with his friends. At that time, T and A were also in the room and C confirms that he saw A at around 7:50 p.m. I can't be exact on the time, but it was around 7:50 p.m. So from 7:50 until about 10, it was just T and A in the room." The court says, "I see. And there is video capturing friends going into the room." The witness says, "They did not go into the room. He was in there for 20 seconds. He just went to pick something up. That was my understanding." Um, that's Vincent. Sorry. The court says, "Okay, so it is just him who goes in and then comes out." And the witness says, "Yes, Your Honor." Court says, "Okay." And then Mr. Cohen, I'm gonna text him back just with my watch because my phone's over there. "Hey, I'm on a live. Love you. Let me know what you need." He's probably gonna get us food or something. I love food. So just to clarify, this is Mr. Cohen. He says between 7:38 when Anna goes into the room, the last time that she's seen in approximately 12:09 when C goes into the room for the night. During that time period, he had actually entered the room twice. Is that correct? My recollection, yes. We've already said this. He entered the room first at 7:51, and that's when he claims that he did see A inside. They should have by the key card. Everybody's key card should be different. Whoever swipes their key card to get into the room, it should be under that person's name, you would think. Maybe it's not that technically advanced, but you would think so. So at 7:51, he enters and he claims that he sees Anna. She's inside. And then he says, and then he enters the room again at 11:21, and that time he claimed later he did not see Anna inside. That's my recollection. So there were several times overall that he was in the room that evening, twice. And then the last time he went in, he went to sleep, or he said he went to sleep. Yes, sir. And then the court says, "So just so I understand again, so C went into the room after 10. How many times again?" "Just one, Your Honor." "And how long was he in the room?" "Under 2 minutes." "Okay. And is this your theory that the death occurred already at that point?" "Yes, Your Honor." "Why do you say that?" "Because he didn't see A when he went into the room at all, and she had never exited the room per CCTV. Bam. The court says so the theory is that she was hidden at that point in time. So when C went into the room, he couldn't see her. Yes, Your Honor. And then Mr. Cohen has a question. So it seems like your supposition is based on what C told you that he didn't see his sister at the time, correct? My supposition on what? Your response to the court's question. You thought that when C entered the room at 11:51 that A had already been killed, right? Yes. And a significant part of your basis for that conclusion is that what C told you that he had not seen his sister at 11:51, right? That is partly true. And if C was lying, does your theory fall apart then? No, I don't think so. There was only a period of time, a significant period of time where all of this could have occurred, which would have been from 7:50 something until about 10 p.m. Other than that, the ins and outs of both T and C were very insignificant time frames. Wasn't C in the room from 12:09 to 9:50? Yes. So that's 9 hours. See, I think he's just like this. He's trying to fill all these numbers out. I don't know. And like, get him confused or something. So it says nobody else has given you information about what occurred during that time period, right? No. Nobody else has given you any indication whether or not A was alive or dead when C entered the room at 12:09, have they? As far as eyewitnesses, I don't know. Well, you're the case agent. You have been given information about whether or not somebody else was in the cabin during that period of time. Okay, so it's case agent. And they say no. Okay, and the medical examiner hasn't been able to tell you whether or not the death occurred before 12:09 or after 12:09. No. So again, it goes back to whether or not you believe C, a 13-year-old half brother of the decedent. Is that right? Again, no. My understanding, A also had an iWatch that monitor her heart rate and so forth, and that iWatch stopped working between the time period of 7:50 to 10 p.m. It wasn't monitoring her heart rate anymore. Mess with me, I got a ring too. Wow. Did you find the watch? No. He's smart. Like, that's kind of smart. He took the watch. Do you think he just like threw it overboard? I mean, he didn't throw the phone overboard. I would have. I mean, destroy the phone, right? But I mean, like, because now that I'm thinking about it, I feel like I've seen her in her TikToks with the watch on. Had you had the watch, could you have tested it for accuracy or whether it was broken or functioning properly, right? No, we downloaded her phone information, and that's where we got that information from, her phone. Oh, but again, you don't know whether or not the watch was functioning properly. It was functioning fine up until around that time period. Do you know whether she took it off? No. Did you find it? We did not, which we thought was odd. Okay, and certainly after that period when it stopped working, not only was C in the room briefly at about 11:50, but was in the room for the rest of the night after 12:09, right? No, the iWatch stopped functioning between late 7:50 to 10 p.m. I can't tell you the exact time because I don't remember, but it was during that time period. And the court says on the issue of the watch, at what point was it tested? In other words, at what point was this inquiry conducted about the information from the watch? And the witness says, we received a search warrant for A's phone, and part of the information that we received was her Apple Health. I really don't remember what it's called, but it is basically an app. It's called iHealth, I think. Um, it's basically an app that connects to her iWatch, and it monitors her heart rate and steps like a typical fitness watch. During that time period, that watch stopped recording information. And it had been, do you have recording of information from the beginning of the cruise as an example? That's what the court said. And the witness says, I believe the watch had been monitoring throughout the cruise. Okay. I didn't review the information completely. That was the other case agent, but I was informed that the watch stopped working during that time period. If she were to take the watch off, though, at some point, would that also cause it to stop working? Yes. The interesting part is that we could not find that watch, which was odd. We did an extensive search of that cabin, and both her watch and cell phone were missing. And then the court said the area where the the phone was found, was that searched for the watch? No. I mean, are you kidding? Did they like, I'm just, this one, I got Rex Heuermann in my mind right now with a pizza box, but this is what I'm thinking about. What if like, what if they just saw the phone in the trash and they were like, oh, there's the phone, and they pick up the phone or whatever, get their gloves out, whatever, get the phone, and then they don't search the rest of the trash because they're dummies. They don't think about it. And maybe her watch was in the trash, and then here comes the cruise people, they want to keep everything clean, clean, clean. Maybe they change out the trash, and then it's just, I don't know, like maybe the officers don't even think about it. But that's crazy. Probably threw it overboard. Hey, Abby. Hey, Betsy. Welcome in, everybody. Yeah, key cards they have numbers. I just don't know if they have the same number. You know what I mean? And like, that's kind of tricky because this is like, what if they give them the same number for this because it's one door? I don't know, but I would think they'd be different. Okay, so it says, when you had when you had spoken to T after you boarded the ship the next day, correct? Could you repeat that? I'm sorry. Law enforcement spoke with T after the ship docked in Miami and the FBI boarded, right? Yes. Was he searched? I'm not aware, but no watch was found on him. No. Did anybody go back to the lost and found after this determination to see if maybe the watch had been put there at that time? Phone was? So we went to the lost and found. There was no iWatch there. So you have the fact that a watch may have stopped at about 10 something without knowing why it may have stopped, and the word of a 13-year-old to suggest that this incident, the homicide, had to have occurred before 12 o'clock. Is that pretty much accurate? She keeps saying no. I would say that's a good portion of what we have. Yeah. As far as the timing, sure. The timing is critical in this case, right? I mean, you're relying on the closed circuit TV to try and determine when A was killed. Yes. Well, that's a very good thing to have is video. I mean, I would say a good portion of what we have. But yeah. Okay. I read that. The timing is critical. Read that. Sorry. Okay. So the whole reason that we have gone through this through the whole time is because timing may be critical, right? Timing is part of what occurred during that day. Sure. Of course. So certainly if she was killed at 2 o'clock, it is different situation than if she was killed at 10, right? How so? If she's killed at 2, there are 2 other people in the room, right? Yes. If she's killed at 10 o'clock, maybe only 1. Yes. So timing is crucial in this case. Yes. Now, somebody, I don't know if it was you or another person from law enforcement, also spoke to A's father, who is T's stepfather, correct? Yes. And he told you that there were issues between C and A even before they got on the ship, right? I don't recall. Miss Lopez says, which one are you going to read from? And Mr. Cohen says, the 302 you provided. And then she says, right, okay, got it. Mr. Cohen says, okay, so it looks like on January 15th that you had a meeting, you and Agent Pitts. Miss Lopez says, I'm sorry, Your Honor, this is improper refreshment of recollection. The agent's testimony was he doesn't recall. I would object to impeachment at this point. Ooh, we getting spicy up in here. If he said he didn't recall, the appropriate procedure is for counsel to provide him with the 302 for him to review it, and if his memory is refreshed, he can testify. What's the 302? You better testify. Are we going to come arrest you? Like his memory's refreshed? That sounds crazy. What does that mean? This isn't a trial, remember. So whatever is most efficient in terms of presenting the fact that is most relevant to me. Obviously, the witness can always ask a lawyer to see what he is looking at if he wished to confirm the question. Mr. Cohen says, if I could just have a moment, Your Honor. And then there's a pause. And the court says, while he's doing that, while he's looking at it, can you just respond directly to the question about, isn't it impossible that it was C who may have been involved if the murder didn't actually occur until after midnight? I would argue not, because it was T's semen that was found inside of the victims, not C's. Boom. Got him. There you go. That assumes, of course, oh God, that assumes, of course, then that the person who committed the sexual assault is the same person who committed the murder. Well, yeah, probably. That it says that plus the timing, they were there by themselves for those 2 hours. I would also argue that there was no DNA of C found anywhere on the victim or anything like that. Mr. Cohen comes flying back in. Okay, so let me follow up with the court's question, which I was going to get to eventually anyway. Well, thank you for giving us your time. During the time of the autopsy, was the assistant medical examiner able to determine how long after the intercourse did the death occur? Not that I'm aware of. Was the assistant medical examiner able to determine whether the same person who was involved in the intercourse with A was the same person who killed her? I don't think they made that determination. Thank you. The proffer described marks and bruises to A's neck. Was any attempt ever made to lift DNA from areas of her body to indicate who may have strangled her? I'm not sure of that. I'm not sure. No. Well, I'm sure they freaking did. They better have. Again, you're the case agent. You would have been privy to that information if, in fact, it existed. Yeah, I would say so. Please tell me you swabbed her neck. Please tell me you swabbed her neck and you took pictures. Oh, man. And you don't have any information to that effect. No, I thought you said there was an attempt made. I'm not sure if there was an attempt made. Well, you would be the one who had told somebody to go ahead and get the DNA lifted, right? I believe the medical examiner does their own examination. How they do it, if they tried to recover DNA samples from the neck or anything, that would be up to them. I feel like if I was a case agent, I would just be double checking. You know what I mean? I'd be like, hey, she was strangled. I know you know how to do your job, but we're gonna swab that, right? I'm gonna swab it right now. Will you swab it for me? Something, right? Something. It's crazy. Oh, thank you, Ladybug. Oh, you're welcome. I can't heart it. Won't let me heart it. What's going on here? Maybe it has to go up a little bit. There we go. Thank you, Ladybug, for the 999. She said, thank you for reading to us, honey. I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Thank you. My computer's being like super slow tonight. So let me know if I'm glitching out or anything. Hey, hoodies. Oh, we've missed you, Mary Beth. So much. I'm so glad you're doing good. I hope you're doing good. Okay. It says here, this is crazy. I mean, he really did a number. Have you ever heard of the medical examiner lifting DNA from a body? I have. I haven't. I haven't. Like, I'm not. Okay. I've never been in a medical examiner's office, but I've been to school, for criminal justice, and I'm pretty sure that they do swab areas. I know that they do like sexual exam kits, like rape kits, all that stuff. They do that, and I'm sure that they do, swabbing, and they probably give it to the investigators. That's what I would say. How many homicides have you investigated? Oh, geez, this is gonna be bad, isn't it? So we investigated murders of U.S. citizens overseas. So we investigated quite a few. I can't tell you a number right now. Okay, how many homicide investigations have you been the lead case agent on? None. None. This is your first? Yes, sir. Why are we putting a rookie on this case? That's crazy. Hey, Laura. For some reason I can't get to there we go. I can get to the bottom now. My computer's being really slow. I'll have to do a speed test on it. Let's see. Maybe if I open this up more. Sometimes it's the computer. Okay. We're down here. So going back to the proffer, there was quite a bit of very specific information about A's phone. Do you recall that? Yes, and the proffer contained, and you verified at 9:50 a.m., T was seen on video leaving the cabin with his hand somewhere stuck inside his sweatshirt. Is that fair? Yes. So between 9:20 and 9:48, even before then, he was also seen walking around the ship, right? I believe so, yes. And the routers that the prosecutor described were in effect and working at that time, right? My understanding is. And it shows that at least the path of the phone was somewhat similar to the path that T was walking. Yes. Now, during that time that he was doing this walk, he went to the 12th floor, the 12th deck, right? There was 12? I thought it was 5. Oh my goodness. There was a jogging path or jogging course there, right? I bet that was nice. I don't recall. Would looking at your report, or do you have the search warrant or your case outline assist you? Yes, that would be great. If I may, okay. Okay, they're giving that to them. Okay, so you were the affiant on the search warrant affidavit for T's phone, correct? Yes, sir. I'm going to show you your affidavit. Thank you. Page 9, paragraph F. Ms. Lopez, thank you. A question. I would ask if that refreshes your recollection as to whether or not prior to 9:50, T was on the jogging track on the 12th deck. Yes. Again, I've never seen on the ship. Usually the jogging deck is on the top, towards the top, and borders on the both sides. Correct. Yes. He could have thrown the phone into the water, right? He was on the 12th deck. Did he? No. So between the time that A's body was found Friday morning and the time that the ship docked in Miami on Saturday, do you know where her body was kept? They kept it in a room in place. Do you know if they took any special precautions to make sure that there was no decomposition of the body in that time period? They should have. Yeah, they should have a refrigerator for that. If someone dies on a ship, I would think, right? I mean, it happens. The only thing that they try to do is keep the temperature cooler. That's about it. Do you know what temperature it was? I do not. I didn't think so. This is so spicy. She said, I do not. And he was like, I didn't think so. During the time between the time the FBI boarded the ship, I think at about 7 a.m. on Saturday morning, and the time that you left at about 5:30, were passengers and or crew allowed to disembark? Yes. in a normal fashion, or were they held for a while? My understanding, normal fashion. During the search of the cabin, either by you or by anybody, I guess they had security officers on the ship. Was there any items found that were consistent with the injuries described by the medical examiner? What do you mean? Let me back up and ask this question. Was the medical examiner able to determine whether the strangulation was by hand or by object? His findings was mechanical asphyxiation. So was there any object in the cabin that was found that could have possibly caused that type of injury that you know of? Not that I know of, no. So there is just one small part of the proffer where the prosecutor indicated that at some point in time, T pokes his head out the cabin, looks left, looks right, and then goes back in. Do you recall that? Yes. His mother and stepfather were staying in the cabin right across the hall, right? Correct. And later on, when there was this commotion in the cabin with the attendant who finds the body, I think the proffer was that T just walks by without even looking inside. Do you recall that? Yes, I recall that on the last one. Do you know anything about T's mental health background? The only thing I know from I can't remember if it was the mom or dad told me he had ADHD. Okay, we all have ADHD. Okay, we all do. I mean, I do. I genuinely do, but I feel like everybody does. As far as your investigation revealed, even before leaving on the cruise, that T and A were living in the same house, right? Yes. And they were sharing a cabin together with C for the time between Monday when the ship left Miami and Friday or Saturday, Thursday or Friday, whenever the time period the death occurred, right? For the duration of the cruise, yes. Did you have any information from anybody there were any ill feelings or bad blood between the two of them? No. I have nothing further. Thank you, Your Honor. May I proceed, Your Honor, Miss Lopez says. And the court says, redirect. She says, thank you. Special Agent Delval, Mr. Cohen asked you several questions about the timeline of this case. Do you recall those questions? Some of them, sure. And he specifically focused on some of the timeline related to the closed circuit television. Do you recall those questions? Yes. So we're going to discuss that, but let me start with the first question. Counsel asked you if C, meaning the minor witness who was in the same room or staying in the same room as the victim, and T, stated several times that he was the half-brother. Do you know whether or not C, meaning the minor witness, the 13-year-old, is that the victim's full brother or her half-brother? Oh my goodness, we're asking these questions. I believe it's you know what? I thought it was the half-brother. We're all asking that. We've all been asking the same question. Is he half-brother? Is he a brother? What all kids were there? You know, like it's been crazy. Okay, so they're actually related by blood, correct? Yes, for sure. He is not related to T, no. Other than his father is married to T's mother, correct? All right, you wrote a case overview for this, correct? That you cohorted with Special Agent Pitts, right? Yes. And you sent that to me via email, and I have provided it to the defense as your Jenks material. Yes. You mentioned several times throughout your questions with the defense the following things, and I'm going to go over them with you. Okay. Do you recall the defense question about the times that C, meaning the half-brother, the minor witness, came in and out of the room from the point in which the victim and T were in there until he enters it for the last time between 12:09-ish in the morning on November 7th? Yes. Do you recall those questions? Okay, so let's go over that. May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Yes. You mentioned Special Agent DeVal that you thought that the minor witness C entered the room around, you said initially 7:50 something, correct? Yes. And then you mentioned that he might have entered again for a second time around 10 something in the evening, correct? I believe so. So let's look at your case review. Ms. Lopez says, this is starting on page that starts the timeline of events November 6th for counsel's reference. Let's look at this. You mentioned that the victim returns at what time? 7:38 p.m. And when did T enter the room? About 3 minutes earlier, 7:35. So by 7:38 p.m., both T and the victim are in cabin 8343. Wow. So that's like 3 minutes. I mean, like that, like was he like that's quick. Now what time do you know C, the brother, enters into the cabin? 7:51 p.m. Okay, and how long is he there according to your case overview? If I remember correctly, it was about a minute, not even. And this is the time period when he was seen in the CCTV with his two little friends. Yes. And is that also the time point when C tells you when you interview him that he sees the victim in the room? Yes. All right. You mentioned that after he enters at 7:51, he is there for maybe a minute or two and then he leaves. Correct. Yes. Okay, from about 7:51 p.m., the next time you note in your case overview, is anyone seen entering or exiting cabin 8343? No. Oh, thanks, Cheryl. Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for being here and hitting the like. And the next question was, what is the next thing that happens at 10:13 p.m., which is approximately about 2 hours and 20 something minutes after C is seen exiting? T exits the room. So Timothy leaves. He exits the room. Now let's go over your timeline. When is the next time that Connor is seen entering the room? Oh, well, they forgot to put C there. 11:21 p.m. 11:21 p.m. And how long does he remain at this point? For about a minute. So from that time frame of 11:52, let's say if he stayed in the room entering at 7:51 and leaving around 7:52 or 7:53 on November 6th, C, is not seen entering the cabin 8343 until 11:21 p.m. That's correct. Okay. Think we got it. I'm gonna grab my drink. It's like, did we get that? So that would actually leave T and the victim in the cabin 8343 together alone with no one else around for approximately 3 hours and some change. Yes, I would say so. About an hour and a half, right? About an hour and 20 minutes, yes. When C re-enters the room at 11:21 and quickly exits at 11:23, did you ask him if he saw V, his half-sister, leave? The victim, he saw her in the room at that time. I don't know who V is. I didn't ask him, but he was asked and he said he did not. Okay, so when he enters the room at 7:51, he sees the victim. When he comes back the second time, 3.5 hours later, I'm about to write this down. Okay. Because I'm like, I'm gonna just like do a little, there we go. And then, so at, okay, 7:51, he leaves. And then at 11:30 or 11:30 or 11:21-ish, we'll put 11:21-ish, he doesn't see her. When he comes back the second time, 3.5 hours later at 11:30, 11:21, she does not see the victim in the room. Correct. Okay. Then the third time he enters is at the last time at 12:01 a.m. on November 7th, where he ends up having to stay in the hallway for a couple of minutes. Correct. And then she says around 12:09. Yes. When C asked after he entered the room, let me get you guys back. Oh, wait, that's the wrong one. That's like our last stream. There you guys are. I'm like, that's our last stream. Okay. So when C was asked after he entered the room the third time, what he did between the hours of 12:09 a.m. on November 7th to the point where he leaves the cabin at 9:20 something in the morning, I believe he was asked, and I believe he said he just fell asleep. Right, because it was in the middle of the night, correct? Yes. And so he says that he fell asleep, and then at what time is he seen exiting the cabin 8343 after he enters at 12:09 p.m. 9:20 a.m. November 7th. And when does T exit that room? Around 6 minutes later at 9:26. The victim never enters or exits at any point after she enters at 7:38 p.m. on November 6th. Correct. Correct. Okay, so in those 3 hours, in reality, it was about 3.5 hours that T and the victim were in the room by themselves. Correct. Yes. If you know, is asphyxiation, meaning strangulation, a quick way of dying? No. It takes quite a few minutes in order to strangle someone to death, doesn't it? Correct. So would it be fair to say that it would be unusual or strange for C to have been able to strangle his sister in the quick minute that he enters at 7:51 when he says he's seen her still alive? And this person says very unusual. Like he wouldn't be able to do it. Would it also not be enough time for the 2 minutes that he is seen at 11:21 to 11:23-ish on November 6th for him to have strangled his sister at that time? Correct. Now you mentioned the Apple Watch or the health information, excuse me, for the victim that was downloaded from her phone. Do you recall those questions? Yes. Now I want to go over a few of things that, as to that point. You didn't get a search warrant for it, correct? You actually just downloaded the victim's phone. You got a search warrant for T's phone, correct? Right. I got the search warrant for T's phone, correct. You mentioned your case agent let you know that the health information had been working throughout the cruise, but stopped somewhere in the time frame after 7:38 p.m. when the victim goes back into the cabin 8343 for the last time, correct? Correct. Are you aware of are you aware or whether or not anyone viewed her text message during that time? Okay. Are you aware of whether or not anyone viewed her text message at that time? I couldn't get that out. Yes. And there was information obtained as to when she stopped texting on that evening. Around that same time, I believe it was before 10 p.m. So then it says, okay, now, and then the court says, hold on, before 10 a.m., what text did she send? I love this court. She is nosy. The witness says, I'm not aware, Your Honor, because I didn't review them, but she was sending texts throughout that day. What time did she leave the dinner? I'd have to review my notes. I'm sorry, Your Honor. Would you like me to provide a copy? Sure. Why doesn't she have her own damn copies? If I was going to court, I'd have a copy of every document I need. All my documents. You should see me when I go to court. I'm so prepared. Like when I go to court for seeing other people at court, not me at court. That would be good. So then it says, I believe it was around 7:30. She left dinner and went back to her room. Are there any texts she sent between 7:30 and 10? I'm sorry, she left at around 6:30, 6:35. Are there any texts between 6:30 and 9:30 or 10? I believe there were. She was trying to get a hold of an individual that she had met on the cruise ship, but she couldn't get a hold of him. Oh, he hit it and quit it. Oh man. The court. So seriously, like we were all that age. So how many texts would you say there were? The witness says, I wouldn't want to speculate, Your Honor. I'm not sure. And then this one says, by Miss Lopez, special agent, you know the texts were stopped at some point, but you don't know the exact time at which they stopped, correct? I don't. Counsel asked you some questions about C and his behavior during the evening of November 6th to the morning of November 7th. Do you remember that? Yes. Is it true that C didn't alert to any unusual appearance in the room or to the fact that the victim wasn't in the room either to his father or to T's mother? Correct. Correct. T didn't alert either one of them either as to anything unusual in the room, did he? No. T also did not alert that the victim or even the minor witness C weren't in the room for long periods of time, did he? No. And that's what, that would be a question, right? Like you would be back in the cabin, you would think. Connor, Timothy, they're in the cabin together. Like he before bed, you would think he would say something like, "Where's Anna? Is she hooking up with that guy, or is she with someone, or is she walking around? She jogging? Like, wouldn't you say something like?" She was 18. She could do what she want, right? But like, I don't know. Just that is kind of weird that he didn't like ask, like, you know. Oh, I'm sorry, Laura, that you have bad headache. I just saw the message pop up and then it like popped all crazy. Hey there, Walt. Hey, Lorna. Welcome in, everybody. For some reason, my computer is being so slow. Like I can't even hardly comment. Like, oh, I didn't even know I had that comment up for like that one. Like, what's it? Let me try something real quick. Sorry, guys. Let me try something. Let's do like a speed test. That's what Vincent always does. Like, I don't have a lot of stuff open. Oh yeah, it's like terrible. Okay, it's not doing too bad, I guess. That wasn't too bad. 92. Maybe I need a new computer. Just as long as you guys can see me. Yeah, as long as you guys can see me and everything. Oh, I'm so sad that you had another day. Another day at the. Oh, I thought you said another bad day at the post office. I hope it's good news, not bad news. I can't stand when animals are hurt and people are hurting. So it says, what does he do? What he does do is that he blocks C from entering the room at around 12:09 a.m. Correct. And it says, and then the court says, I'm sorry, I thought C went back into the room at 12. I'm sorry, Your Honor. He attempted to go into the room at 12:09 and T stopped him saying, don't come in, don't come in. And he had, if you go into the cabin, the bathroom and the closet are right towards the beginning. He had both doors kind of open so you couldn't see into the room. So he just told him to wait outside, and C ended up waiting outside for a couple of minutes until T let him back in. So he waited in the hallway for a couple of minutes, the court says. Yes, Your Honor. The court says, and then at that point he goes into the room. Yes, Your Honor. And then he stays there. Yes. The family mentioned that the victim always had her phone on her, correct? She was 18, of course. Yes. And that's why the FBI searched the room for her phone. Yes. And the FBI couldn't find it in the room, correct? No, we could not. The data from the cruise ship router showed that the victim's phone was in the same location as T as he was jogging around the track on deck 12, correct? It was hitting that router, yes. Was C anywhere in that location at that time? Not that we're aware of, no. When the ship's router information shows the victim's phone is pinging along the route to the Lido deck on deck 10 and going downstairs, CCTV showed that T was there. Yes. CCTV didn't show that C was there. No. When the router information showed that approximately at around the same time of the victim's cell phone connecting to the routers in or around the trash bin, did it show that C, the minor brother, was there? No. Did it show that T was there? Yes. Did the CCTV show that T was then observed in the area of the trash bin? Yes. And then afterwards he left that the victim's phone is pinging in the area of the trash bin, correct? When it is pinging there at 9:55, did the CCTV show that T was there? Yes. And it showed that afterwards when it was pinging, he is back in cabin 8343, correct? The pinging remains in the trash and T has since left. At any point, did the CCTV show that the minor brother C was in the area of the trash bin when that was occurring? No. He was over there eating breakfast. Do you do similar analysis of T's phone? Did he have a phone? Your Honor, he did have a phone, but he didn't have an internet plan. What was he doing that he couldn't have the internet? They didn't pay for his internet plan. Okay. When you pay for a cell phone, okay. When you pay for a cell phone bill, right? Like when you pay your cell phone bill, like you would have to take the internet. You would have to deliberately say, I don't want the internet on this phone, right? Like that would have to be because you pay for it all. Like you just paid the bill. Like, doesn't it just come with the internet? I mean, Vincent handles this stuff. Sorry. But like, so what was he looking up? Like, what was he doing on that internet where they were like, you can't have the internet? Do you know what I mean? Like this kid was doing some fishy ass shit before he got caught with this. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? I want to see the Google searches at home on the computer that he'd been hiding under his bed or the tablet, that he got from his school friend or is using the tablet from the school. I don't know. So it says here, so it wouldn't have been my understanding. I'm not a tech guy. My understanding is that it wouldn't be grabbing onto the routers because he didn't pay for the ship's internet plan. Oh, it was the ship's internet plan. Okay, I should have read more. Sorry, y'all. I was thinking, what the heavens? So, okay. They just didn't pay for him to be on the ship and be on the internet. Oh, and that sucks. I've done plane rides without the internet, which I mean, just suck it up, right? Not this last time though. On the red eye, I was like, you getting me that Dateline episode. It was like Dateline or something for Idaho 4. So they didn't play. Okay. So counsel asked you some questions about the fact that the victim was about 109 pounds, according to the medical examiner, correct? Yes. She was also short, or was she tall? She was tall. I'm sorry, short. About how much would you estimate her height being? 5'2". And counsel asked you whether or not T was a small male. Do you recall that question? Yes. You had a chance to view T standing up when he surrendered himself, correct? Yes. Because you are one of the case agents to whom he surrendered. Is that correct? Yes. About how tall would you estimate T being? 5'9", 5'10". So he was taller than the victim. Yes. Counsel asked you some questions about whether or not anyone indicated that T and the victim had a contentious or a bad relationship. Do you recall these questions? Yes. What was your answer? Not that I'm aware of. I could tell you. Ex-boyfriend, Where's he at? You also spoke, though, at some point in your investigation to the victim's friends and her ex-boyfriend, correct? Damn good. Yes. I knew they would talk to him. And did the ex-boyfriend tell you any information that was of note during the course of your investigation as to strange moment between T and the victim? He did. What did he say? Oh, he's putting this on record. He's standing on his facts. He stated that while they were dating, he would talk often via FaceTime at night, and they would fall asleep together while they were on FaceTime. That is so cute. It was just something that they did as boyfriend and girlfriend. During one of those FaceTime conversations, he recalls that A had fallen asleep and he was doing some work in his garage or something, but he noticed or he had heard a noise coming from A's phone. He looked and he states that he's seen T trying to get into bed with A. He was kind of surprised and shocked by it and yelled at T, and then T apparently ran out of the room. He probably didn't know what to think. He probably was like, "Does she do this, or is this something? What's going on?" Okay, did the ex-boyfriend tell you whether or not he informed the victim of what had occurred? He says yes, he did. And did he indicate that the victim told him in terms of telling her father about what had occurred? Yes. She said that she had been hesitant about saying anything to her father because she felt that T was a little weird and that he was quite a few oh, and that he had quite a few knives. So she was a little bit afraid of him. Now, at some point, did you follow up with the victim's father about whether or not any of the video surveillance in his home reflected that interaction or that entry into the victim's room? Why would there be a camera in her room facing her bed? We did. And what did he tell you? He said that he reviewed the video. He couldn't find anything, but that was inaudible with the fact that the video only lasted 30 days and that the incident would have happened a few months prior to the capacity of the video. So it would have been like recorded over. Counsel asked you a couple of questions about the room and I guess the state in which it was kept once the victim's body was found. Do you recall those questions? Yes. You answered some questions regarding the temperature at which it was kept, correct? Yes. Okay, after the point in which the victim's body is found, was the room kept secure and off limits by crew security to your knowledge? Yes. Were the family allowed to enter? Not to my knowledge. So the dad didn't find her. Okay, was there a first point when they first find the body that the stepmother, meaning T's mother, and the victim's dad do enter the room to try and wake the victim up? Maybe you did. Yes. Oh, this is when they first found it before people were there. Okay. After that point, do any of and they're, removed by the cruise security at that point, correct? Yes. At that point, at any point after entering that point, oh, wait, hold on. At any point after that point, does the family or anyone else besides cruise security and the FBI have access to cabin 8343? No. I'm sure nobody wants to stay in that cabin anymore either. Is there any record of any other family member trying to reach the victim at any point prior to that 11 time period? I'm sorry, I don't understand that. The court says, in other words, did anyone try to knock on the door to look for her? So they left her at 6:30 p.m. after dinner. I love this. I love this. The next morning she was found. I'm just saying. The next morning she was found at 11 a.m. That's a long ass time to be without your kid. That's on a cruise ship with you. I'm sorry. My understanding is that from the dad that she was 18 years old, she hung out at night during the cruise. I think she did her own thing. So they didn't find it odd at the moment yet. I would find that odd still. She's fresh 18. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know. They weren't alarmed, especially the brother is now in the room that she wasn't there, or C specifically. C wasn't really alarmed that she wasn't there because he was under the impression, so was the family, that she was doing her thing. What do you mean doing her thing? My dad would never tell me someone's father. I'm about to tell me someone's father that would be like, she's out just doing her thing. She's 18. My dad, I'm going to tell you something right now. My mom told me this. My dad died knowing, thinking in his little head that I was a virgin and I was pure as pure could be, my mom said. So my dad, I just couldn't picture my dad being like, she's out doing her own thing. Like, no, not on my watch. Oh, Tracy, it's a lot. Oh, you do? There's so much stuff to do. Well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'd be so nervous. I'd be one of them parents, you know what I mean? I'd be the helicopter parent. I just know I would. I'm sorry, I would. Like, what are you doing? We'll hang out. So they weren't alarmed, especially the brother. Okay, I read that. So you mentioned you were asked questions about the DNA collection in this case. Do you recall that? From the victim's body? Yes. Okay. Do you recall that Dr. K, I have to remember we call her because I can't say her last name. Um, Besides the swabs taken during the course of the rape kit, swabbing any part of the victim's body for DNA? I don't recall. Now, the victim's body was found in a blanket, correct? Yes. And it was closed completely when it was found, correct? Yes. Okay, the clothing in the blanket would have touched her neck area, correct? And her face area, yes. And at some point did Dr. K, when he discussed the fact that his findings that the victim died from mechanical asphyxiation, did he ever indicate to you if he felt that was done by hands or by a chokehold? He indicated chokehold. Even the grandparents even said it. Okay, and did the victims, the swabs that were taken as part of the rape kit, those swabs were from inside of her, you know, vaginal canal. That's my understanding. They were untouched by the blanket and the clothing that she was on, except for the underwear that was shoved into the vaginal canal, correct? That's my understanding, yes. And the gray viscous fluid that was tested had very strong inclusion that T was the male contributor to that mixture, correct? That is what the report indicated, yes. Same thing for swab 5, though not positive for sperm, but also taken from the vaginal canal. Is that correct? Yes. No further questions. Your Honor, can we have a brief recross? Of course, that's 5 minutes. This conversation with the boyfriend that was never mentioned on direct examination, did you speak with him personally? We spoke, myself and my co-case spoke with him over the phone. So when he saw whatever he claimed that he saw, it was while he was in some sort of contact or communication with A, correct? Yes. Was it some sort of, I'm showing my age, was it some sort of video communication? Was it texting? Well, he said he saw something, so he had to actually have an image, right? It's FaceTime, guys. Yes, my understanding is it was FaceTime live video conferencing that they did often. So that being said, A must have been on her phone, right? I'm sorry. That being said, A must have been using her phone, right? Obviously, yes. And they were communicating verbally in addition to being able to see each other, right? At some point during that conversation, yes. Okay, so if this event happened, then T would have seen that A was on her phone communicating by video and having a conversation with someone else, right? No, 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 no. This happened when she fell asleep. She was asleep and they would, as I mentioned earlier, they would fall asleep together sometimes, but this time she fell asleep first and he was working in his garage. She doesn't sleep in the same room as T, obviously. So my understanding of what he saw was that she had fallen asleep and then T crept into the or tried to creep into the bed. But there was no sexual activity. No. So it was 2 half siblings sharing a bed. They're not half siblings, they're step siblings. I don't know. Okay, and there is nothing else about your investigation at all that revealed any prior inappropriate activity between T and A. No. The government asked you a lot of questions after you already saw T from the closed circuit video but didn't see C. Were you looking for C's images the same you were looking for T's? We were looking for both, tracking both, but mainly T, yes. And the court says, have you looked through a search of C's phone? Did he have a phone? So the only folks that had the internet connection was A and her parents. Ballas. Well, that is during the cruise. In other words, did you do a search of C's phone to see any communications between C and the victim? No, no, no. And then Mr. Cohen says, the prosecutor asked you several questions about whether or not C would have had the time to strangle A. Do you recall those questions? Just asked him. And she asked about 1 minute, about 7:51, and you said there wasn't enough time. Do you recall? When he was there with his 2 friends, yes. She asked you about whatever it was, 11:20, 11:50, whatever, or whether there was enough time, and you said no. Do you recall that? Yes. Was there enough time between 12:09 and 9:50 for him to strangle her? I say that's a lot of time. Enough time for him to strangle her? Enough time. I'm not saying he did or didn't, but it's enough time that he could have. Let me put it that way. I think it's enough time, yeah, for anybody to, sure. Nothing further, Your Honor. Thank you very much. You may step down. This is a pretty good defense. I mean, he's not getting paid. That witness was excused. So then we go, any additional evidence from the government? No, Your Honor. Okay, any evidence the defense wishes to introduce? Just argument. Okay, let me turn back to the prosecutor then, and let me And let you make your argument in support of there's 2 issues. 1, if there's probable cause to charge, and 2, if there's sufficient basis to detain. I don't know about the sufficient basis to detain. I'm really curious because, let's say I'm out driving or something, right? And I don't know what do you get arrested for, like, if you're driving? I don't know. Let's say I get arrested, right? I'm gonna say, "Go look at this case. This guy murdered his sister, and he's walking around. I'm going home. See ya." That's what I would say. So it says here, let me grab my drink, actually. This is my new cup, actually. I'll show it to you guys. I got it. I don't know who sent it. Stanley sent it, but they didn't send like a note. But I was having problems with a couple of my bottles, so I don't know if they were like they felt bad, so they sent me a new one. But I don't have this one, so and it's the same size that I use. I use the 30 ounce. So I was like, okay, thank you. Appreciate that. I have my name on it. So if it was one of you, let me know. I don't think you guys have my address, but So it says, okay, I'll begin with the probable cause argument. Okay. I think that again, probable cause is not beyond a reasonable doubt. That's not where we're at. It is more likely than not that this defendant is the one who committed the crime, and I think that the evidence here does in fact show that. Specifically, this victim was in her room by herself with this defendant for at least 3.5 hours between the last time C enters the room with his 2 friends at 7:51. The court says, I thought the friends didn't go in the room. Ms. Lopez, excuse me, when C enters and the friends are outside, excuse me, at 7:51, and from the time he enters again for a brief 2 minutes at 11:21 to 11:23 p.m. That is more than sufficient time for this defendant to have strangled the victim after sexually assaulting her and then hiding her body. The evidence just doesn't show that C would have had enough time during that time period. What the evidence does show is that the same time period, although the agent could not recall the exact moment, but the victim's health information stopped showing her pulse and the victim's phone is no longer used by her in that time period. Hey, Tessie. So I posed it to the court. I think it posed it, I don't know. That there is probable cause to believe that the victim died in that 3.5 hour period, not from the hours of 12 midnight to 9:28 p.m. when C, the little brother, leaves the room. That is just not supported by the evidence given what the agent was testified to here today. She likes sparkly stuff. Going for my necklaces. In addition to that, it is not C who is in fact related to her. It is not C who had her phone or is traveling with her phone. I'm sorry. It is this defendant. She's attacking me. Come on, kitty. Go back over here. There. Sorry, guys. Sorry. The cat's crazy. Okay. That cat is there. Oh, she's back. Come on, Tessie. I'm gonna have to take my jewelry off. She's got claws, man. Okay. In addition to that, it is not C who is in fact blood related to her. It is not C who had her phone or is traveling with her phone. It is this defendant. The family tells the FBI that she always has her phone on her. If the phone was found by T, there is a real concern as to where she was, why he didn't give it to the parents, why he didn't attempt to find her to try to give it back to her. Instead, he takes it out for a jog on the 12th deck around the thing, and he goes back to the room. And then after he is in the room for a few minutes, he takes the phone and he takes it up to the area where it is found by the cruise ship employee in the trash can. Not with the victim, not with the parents, not in the lost and found, but in the trash can. That is an attempt, and I believe it is probable cause to believe that this defendant tried to throw the evidence or get rid of it in some way. Regardless of whether or not he had the opportunity to disregard it in other places, he clearly discarded it in the trash bin near the Lido deck where he is seen on CCTV walking with it as he is pinging on the routers on the same track and in the area where he deposits it. And then he travels back and he stays in the area of the trash bin while he goes back to the room. Okay, so what he does is he walks around, sees the coast is clear, goes down, grabs the phone, walks around again, throws it in the trash. He leaves. The phone's pinging, ping, ping, ping over here. And then he gone. He gone. He goes back to the room. When the body is found and he walks past the room, it would be common sense for someone to be like, why are there people in my room that I don't know? Instead, he just walks right by despite the commotion when CCTV shows this poor cabin attendant has now gotten her supervisor and cabin security to go into the room. The ruckus doesn't call his attention or parents, I guess. He just walks right by it. That is because he knows what is in the room because he hid the body in the room. The body wasn't found in a way that maybe it fell off the bed. It was fully clothed despite the fact that his semen was inside of her with the underwear shoved into it. And I will put it. That is clear evidence of sexual assault. No person in a consensual relationship will leave their underwear on for someone to penetrate them with their underwear going in. And isn't that the truth? She's playing with this dog. She's sit down. She's fine. I got all the animals in here. Just noticed that. I got a dog and a cat laying in a bed over here. It's a mess over here. Then he wraps it. Okay. So yeah, no, and I said that the other night. No one is going to wear their underwear when they're doing the deed, right? I think he thought it was going to protect him. I think he thought like that was like some condom or something. I'm being serious. Like I think that he's so young and dumb. Then he wraps it in a blanket and shoves it underneath the bed. Why are we saying it? She has a name. Then he wraps Anna in the blanket and shoves it under the bed. That didn't happen by mistake. That happened because someone caused it to happen. Someone with enough time to be able to wrap the body of a 5'2" girl with a 5'9" or 5'10" brother who is already in puberty and is already developing his muscles and everything necessary to complete such a task from a petite girl. Then the box of the life vest is found on top. Again, despite the fact that it is usually located in the middle of the room, it is now on top of the area where the victim's body as if to hide it. That is not a coincidence. It didn't fly or crawl over there by itself. It was placed there by somebody who had the time to do so. So the evidence in this case clearly shows, and I poison to the cause, that is probable cause, more likely than not, that this victim went into the room at 7:38. This defendant was already in there after the little brother leaves. After being in the room for a couple of minutes at 7:51 for 3.5 hours, no one enters or exits the room. It is only T and the victim, sufficient time for him to assault her, sufficient time for him to wrap her body, sufficient time for him to try and get it underneath the bed. When we know that she has a therapeutic amount of sedative in her, because she complained that she had pain because of her braces, and we know that she took that sedative because there was a therapeutic amount of that butyl in her system. Oh, what is like? Isn't that like painkiller? No, it's not looking it up for me. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Isn't that what it is? Like barbiturates or like who gave her the painkiller? Tension headaches and not. I mean, is it like okay? It's only available by prescription. So like, who got a prescription for it? I don't know what it like it actually is though. I guess it's just like what's in pain medication. Isn't this crazy? Hey, Astro. Okay. So she had that's why, oh my God. I did that little he like knew, he knew that she had that in her system and she was probably like a little loopy and a little sleepy. Oh my God. Then after those 3.5 hours, right? And in those 3.5 hours, he's coming in and out of the room, nothing in his hands, nothing, just leaves. First time he does it, though, he looks left and right, and the evidence is that that's the only time he does that. And the court says, that was what time again? That was at 10:13. Is that the first time he leaves the room again? Miss Lopez says, yes, that's the first time T leaves the cabin. He walks out and then he enters back in 10 minutes later at 10:23 p.m., exits again at 10:49 p.m., and then comes back into the room shortly thereafter. And then at 10:53 p.m., he then opens the door, places the privacy sign, and goes back in. Then at 11:21, the minor witness comes into the room for a couple of minutes and then leaves and says he doesn't see his sister. Wouldn't you see that privacy sign, the little brother? Because it doesn't say he took it off. And you'd be like, why I got that up? I don't know. So the only person who enters and exits the room is T during that 3.5 period, 3.5 time period. No one else does. No one else goes in, and there's no evidence that there was someone laying in wait there for them so he could attack the victim, but not somehow T. He doesn't report it to anybody. That's true. Then when C comes back into the room for a brief 2 minutes, he says, "I don't see my sister." I leave, and then he comes back and comes in to sleep because when he comes back, it's midnight and he sleeps. When he exits the room first, he doesn't have the victim's phone. It's about 4 or 5 minutes later when this defendant exits the room that the victim's phone is now traveling in the same path of travel as he goes to the deck to go run on deck 12. Remind me what time that was again. He enters the room at approximately 9:26 a.m., 9:27 a.m. He is on the deck 10 on his way to deck 12 to the jogging track, and the victim's phone is already tracking the same route as him. Okay. That it says that he's taking on CCTV. 9:27, 9:29, 9:32. He is seen smoking, in the smoking area of deck 11 where the victim's phone is connecting to routers. At 9:34, he's going for a smoke and then a jog. At 9:34 and then at 9:39, he is on deck 12 jogging, and the victim's phone, as he's walking on the jogging track, connects to that same area where CCTV captures him about 9:46. I wonder if he did that on purpose, like the couple of laps first. So the only person traveling with her phone in this is defendant. It's not C. So I poised that there is probable cause to believe C did not kill his sister and that it was T who killed her and that he then tried to dispose of her phone. It is clear that he had sexual relations with her. And again, I poised to the that was an assault, not consensual, because of the way the underwear is found inside of her vagina canal. It defeats any common sense that a person or that a woman who is having consensual sexual relations would keep her underwear on for that to penetrate along with the sexual organ of a male while she's enjoying consensual sexual relationships. That is not commonsensical. I don't believe that there's been any evidence to disprove that this was anything but a sexual assault, and the medical examiner has ruled so and has ruled that it happened prior to death, not afterwards. So they know that. Because I was thinking maybe the opposite. He's so cute. The dog likes to play with the cats. I've never seen her play with Tessie though. Tessie's got claws. Be careful. She plays with Rocky. Okay. I can't. Oh man, this is. So I do believe, based on the physical evidence in this case, the router information, the amount of time in which T is by himself in the room with the victim, and that during that point, at some point, her health information and her texting cease. Not at 12:10 in the morning, not at 3 a.m. in the morning. And because she is on FaceTime with her boyfriend or her ex-boyfriend in the middle of the night, we know that she has not. Where am I at? My thing just messed up. Let me reload you. Okay. It's probably like she's saying all the bad words. We don't know. No, they didn't get worried at all. So she was seen at 6:35. She left dinner around 6:35 and she went to her cabin. And then after that, nobody saw her. Like that's what makes me so upset, because when they went to breakfast the next morning, you would think, right? Like, I'm going to go get my daughter, the kids, like you're going to collect the kids. They're right there in front of you. Like you're right. They keep you all in the same area. So like knock on the door, you got the boys coming out. Well, where's Anna? That would be my first question. Is Anna coming? And then if they said no, then I said, well, where's she at? She just in the room. She's still not feeling good. Let me go check her out. Let me go give her another barbiturate or whatever it was. I wonder who gave her the medicine. They probably, they should feel some type of way, because it rendered her, and she was like, not her strongest. I mean, that's crazy. Okay. I'm on my soapbox. Okay, so it says here, the capacity and the propensity to do that, but she is not doing that because that ends before Connor C ever enters the room at 11:21. So I believe there's probable cause to believe that this defendant killed the victim. You heard, by the way, this wasn't some sort of minor force that caused her asphyxiation. Oh gosh. My computer is so dang slow today. I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna exit out of everything except for what we need. Okay. What happened? I thought something happened with me. I was like, something happened with me? Everybody can see me? Okay. It says you heard, by the way, this wasn't some sort of minor force that caused her asphyxiation. It was enough force to cause bruising and bleeding in her ear area, that there was extensive bruising on her left side, and it takes minutes to kill someone through asphyxiation. It's not an accidental shooting. We are not in that place. And therefore, I do believe that the evidence gives this court probable cause to believe that the murder and a sexual assault happened and that T was the one who did it. Now, as to pretrial detention, I'm going to go with, again, I told the court on Tuesday that I'm seeking detention based on dangerousness, not on risk of flight. The reason why I believe is dangerousness, a couple of reasons. Number one, as I mentioned to the court, he sexually assaulted the victim in a way that is very clear based on the evidence that A, it was him, and B, that it was not consensual based on the way that the underwear is found and the fact that it was his semen inside of her. This is not conscious, clear decision to have sex with her without her consent. This isn't, again, an accident. Someone doesn't accidentally fall into someone's vagina with their sexual organ. He clearly made the clear consensual conscious decision when we know the victim had taken a sedative already to, with her underwear still on, enter her vaginal canal with her underwear on, clearly without her consent. This is not a spur of the moment act, and it is not an accident. It is a clear and conscious decision that violates the body of another person. And that's perfect. Oh, they go on. Oh, they go on. They got more. And then on top of that, he asphyxiates her through a chokehold. This isn't an accidental shooting, which, horrible as it would be, it's not the cause that of we're playing with a gun and accidentally accidentally goes off. Sorry, this isn't an impersonal shooting from meters or tens of feet away, as it would be, for example, in a regular gangland case where people are shooting at each other during a drug deal. While against the law and horrible, because no one deserves to be killed by another person in that matter, it is not impersonal. This is someone who he lived with, whom he was raised like a sibling. He wraps his arms around her neck and squeezed it hard enough that blood was found in and around her ear area, and she had significant bruising on the left side of her face and her neck. While she struggled to breathe for minutes, he continued to hold her neck in that manner so that she would die from lack of oxygen. Minutes go by. At any time, T could have let her go. He could have allowed the victim to breathe, but instead, for minutes, he held that position in order for her to die and kept squeezing. This is barbaric, intentional, thoughtful act, not an accident, not some sort of brief, weird moment where it sort of happens like an accidental shooting. He made the decision to do this or do that with B in his arms, struggling for breath, and he continues to do that until she had no breath, no more. There is no indication, as the defense said, that he had any behavioral problems or problems with T, right? He had ADHD. Many people have ADHD. It just caused a lack of focus. I will point that these two acts require focus, right? There is no evidence of this, and this is despite the fact that he has his parents and his step-parent, who, for all intents purposes, seem very involved in all of their children's lives. They take them all on vacation, no warning of or no hints of danger afoot, with someone who he lives with and been raised with for at least 2 years as a sibling. So we don't live in the land of speculation anymore with some defendants who come here and we poise that they could be a danger based on past behavior. He has raped someone, he has killed her already, and the fact that this happened without any warning or indication he was capable of committing these atrocious acts, how can this court be assured that he will not do them again without warning and without any indication with other people who may be around him at the time? The court doesn't have that assurance, and that is what makes this so dangerous. Without any warning, without any hint, without any prior indication, this defendant raped and killed his stepsister while on vacation. Yeah. The court has no assurance to the court that he won't at some other point, I'm sorry, let me read that again. The court has no assurance to the court that he won't at some other point or some other random moment do it again. He lived with the victim for 2 years. Nothing had happened until then that we know of. I mean, personally, I think he could have done something before this, and she could have just maybe kept it a secret, like, I don't wanna tell my father, like, he just got married, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, this is a hard case. So it says, "Maybe he tried to crawl into bed, if you believe the boyfriend, and I think that is for another court, another day." Although the court surely can take that into consideration, but even if you are able to take that in consideration, that makes it even worse. There is no indication that any time there were any issues for 2 years and all of a sudden he rapes her and kills her, and that is dangerous to the court cannot that is dangerous, and the court cannot be assured that he will remain without hurting himself or others in the future. On top of that, Your Honor, we have a situation in which, as the court heard, this defendant has stayed with his uncle, his mother's brother, on the other side of the state since they got back or since he was released from the cruise ship to go back to his family. While this has been made while this hasn't been made yet, I will let the court know I fully will reject any argument by the defense that these 2 months he clearly showed the government wasn't concerned. The government was doing its investigation to make sure this wasn't an intentional act and that he committed it. The time frame in which all these pieces of evidence come back, I think it would have been inappropriate for the government to arrest him via complaint, especially because he is a juvenile, simply on the well, maybe it happened. I think the fact that it took 2 months, almost 3 months for this to happen, and in coordination with his prior defense attorney, because he decided to allow him to surrender and not to arrest him and traumatize him further, should not be held against the government. I believe that this is actually being responsible. I do too. It was nice. It was good. It was nice of them. They could have arrested him and did the perp walk and did the whole thing, right? But they didn't. They like there was one camera there, I think. Like nobody even knew. That being said, I have become aware of a couple of things in regards to his current situation. Number one, the uncle has two minor children who live in the house. So that is a problem when we know that at the moment's notice, without any warning, this defendant will attack people and do so in the worst possible ways that can be humanly imaginable. Didn't they say he wasn't allowed around friends? Like crazy. Okay. Um, his father, who lives near his uncle, has two stepchildren who live with him. So again, no matter where he stays in that area, he's going to have minor stepchildren, or excuse me, children near him. And that again, based on the facts of this case, is concerning to the government in terms of his ability to harm them. The court says, what are the ages and genders of the children who live in the house? Doesn't matter. I'm unaware as to the stepchildren. I'm sure the defense can provide more as to that. My understanding from the mother is that one of the, I guess, children that are her niece or nephew, she didn't provide genders, is about 10. And I think the other one is about 7 years of age, if I recall correctly. But the defense can correct me if they want to, as to that point, or as to the stepchildren. I don't know the ages of these stepchildren, again, when they are less than 18 years of age. Again, this defendant was able to rape and kill an 18-year-old, so I'm not sure if the age really matters. A decision was made to have him homeschooled after this happened, but the mother has received little to no information from the uncle as to the progress or completion of any schoolwork that TH is supposed to be doing. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. Get him homeschooled and then you don't even do the schooling. That's what you do. I did homeschooling and it's extremely hard. It's extremely hard to do homeschooling, especially if you don't like my parents couldn't help me. Like, I mean, they tried. Bless their hearts, you know what I mean? But like they hadn't been in high school in, 30 years or something. Like they were just like, "Oh, we can't do this." But it is hard. And you have to make sure they're on it. So it says, that is of concern because clearly there's no communication, it seems, right now between the mother, who has 80% custody per the custody agreement, and her brother. So that is a problem. Yeah, no communication. That's a big problem. I hate when people don't communicate. The third problem is that the current custody arrangement, as ordered by the state court judge in Brevard County, is that the defendant's mother, T's mother, has 80% custody and the father has 20% custody. He has filed litigation motions to ask the court to change that custody agreement. And we watched that. We went over that. The emergency motion for him to take custody of his full daughter, who also lives in the custody of her mother, was denied by the court, but an amendment to the general custody agreement is still ongoing and that litigation is pending. My understanding is that the father is allowed to pick up T whenever he wants to and to be with him whenever he wants to in Graveyard, or excuse me, in Brooksville area without consulting or speaking to the mother, which is in direct violation of the current custody order that is in place. It's crazy. Aw, Ladybug, 29 months. Oh, it feels like a long time. Feels like longer. That's man, over 2 years. Wow. I was thinking about that the other day. All of like, a lot of you guys have been here for, or like, long, long time. Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you, Ladybug, for being here. You're here every time, every night with me. Every time I'm here, you're here with me. Even earlier, I was like, "Where's Ladybug?" When we did our live on the other channel, I was like, "I miss Ladybug." Mhm. Okay, so it says, regardless of whether or not the father's contesting that, and maybe the uncle supports him in contesting the current custody agreement, the fact is that there is a court order that says the mother has 80%, the father has 20%, and the changes in that have to be told to her as the legal and physical custody of her son. Oh, crap. Okay. So it shows me that there is already a willingness, perhaps, or an inclination not to follow court orders when given, which is a concern to the government, not only because they're not telling when T is leaving with his father outside of the custody agreement, or excuse me, the custody order, but also that the mother at this point has no idea what is going on with his schooling, despite the fact that he has, or that his legal parent and guardian, she is entitled to that information. She should, I know she's trying to cut ties with him. Okay. I don't, you can't. Sorry, you birthed him. He's 17. You know what I mean? Wait till he's 18 and then give him away. Like, you know what I mean? Then the courts take him. Like, I don't know. It's just, I, like, I mean, he did wrong. He did wrong. Oh, have a good night, Lauren. It's so nice to see you. Like this kid did so he messed up. I mean, he messed up. Like, this is disgusting. But at the same time, it's like your mom's gonna leave you for a dude that she knows for 2 years. Like, I don't know, that part gives me the ick a little bit. I don't know, I just gives me the ick a little bit. I don't like it. I mean, I don't think that he should, like, I think he should go to jail. I mean, if he's guilty and all that, like, right? But it's like, I don't know, it's like weird. It's like to me, it seems like she just wants to, like, cut ties with him and, like, be with the husband. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. So it says, so I bring to the court's attention because I'm a little bit concerned about that and whether or not that reflects on the ability. And the court says, but how would detaining him as a juvenile facility help that matter? Well, first of all, it would make sure this defendant isn't violating any of the court orders by galvanating about with whoever it is, despite a state court order, that he is to remain in a particular location. By being in custody, it makes sure that he is where he is supposed to be, not violating any court orders, including this court's. By also not staying with his dad or uncle, he's not going to be anywhere around other children who he could potentially hurt. As I mentioned before, this act came without warning and without any indication that it could happen. So this would assure the court that he is in controlled environment where he will have very little chance of hurting others. The second thing is that if he is, and I think I mentioned this on Tuesday, but if I didn't, I'll say it now. The government has already spoken to the marshals. The Marshal Service has already made arrangements with the Department of Juvenile Justice to house this defendant according to parameters set forth in Title 185035. They are prepared. That means that they will be housing him in a juvenile facility while this case remains in juvenile status. He will not be housed at the Turner Guilford Night Center in the juvenile section because that is for juveniles who are already charged as adults, whose cases are in adult status. The order that your honor signed with the information makes it very clear that he is to be processed at the Juvenile Assessment Center here on 3rd, which is where the juveniles go to get processed when they are arrested in state court, and that he will be housed in the Juvenile Residential Center, ensuring that he has not only the usual heat, not ensuring that he not only has the usual heat, air conditioning. No. Nope. No, they don't. You don't get air conditioning. You don't get heat. You get air conditioning in jail, but you don't get no heat. They keep it at a certain temperature in jails. They got to. They got to keep it like 50 for the bugs. They don't want like bugs in there, lice and stuff. We want to put them right by the air. Look at this guy. He's like, we want to put him in this facility. It's so nice. It has air conditioning, has the usual heat, food, water, enough recreational time, but that he is schooled properly. Appropriately, sorry, to ensure that he is getting his education, even if he is detained, something that this court has no assurance of right now, and neither does his mother. I mean, bam. Does the court have any further questions for the government? The court does. Just so I understand, in other words, on the custody issue, which is not before the court, but on the question of the concerns that the government expressed, the mother is supposed to have 80% custody and the father is supposed to have 20% custody, but it is the uncle who is housing him. Like, can you not keep up, lady? Yes, the mother. Was that approved by the state court? My understanding is that the mother, as the primary physical custodian and legal custodian of T, was allowed to place him in custody of another person on her behalf. That has been brought before my understanding to the state court judge in Brevard, and she has allowed T to remain there because the mother has stated when this emergency motion for custody proceeding began, which the father initiated, she stated it was her preference for her to be there. I think one of the reasons for that was stated in court was because it is a little, I guess it would be beyond the realm of imagination to say this case has received a lot of media attention. Everyone is aware, unfortunately, despite our best efforts to keep things quiet and concealed during the investigation process, that he is a possible suspect, and she felt that it is safer for him to stay with the uncle than to stay in the town where the victim was from with the family, etc. Mhm. So the uncle is the mother's brother. That is correct, Your Honor. My understanding is when it was brought to the court's attention, the state court judge decided that T would remain in custody of his uncle, that the younger sister would remain in the custody of the mother, and then decided that the emergency motion having been denied, that if the father wanted to contest the general custody order, that he could do so, which is the litigation that is pending right now. So she's saying for him to go for it. She's not going to fight him anymore, I guess. I know that they've taken testimony in state court, which I have been able to get a copy of. Haven't been able to get a copy of. I can give it to you because state family court proceedings, generally speaking, the docket remains generally not private. It's not. Yeah, we read it. We had it. I tried to get in touch with the family law attorney to get any more information, but there have been journalists present in that courtroom because the courtroom is not sealed. It is still open, who have reported extensively about the fact that the emergency motion to take custody of T and the sister was denied, but the current proceedings challenging the general custody order and requesting the amendment is ongoing. We know what's going on. The court said, okay. Oh, hold on one second. Hold on, got emergency. I think my kitty's getting sick. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. My kitty. He got sick. I had to I had to help him out. He looks older today. I hate that. He's 18. He is getting older, but I just hate that I need to go love on him. Okay. We'll read for a few more minutes. We'll go to page 100 and then we'll do the next one on the next slide. Okay. So it says, let's see where we're at. Okay. Then Mr. Koo comes back and he's for the defense. It says, thank you, Your Honor. I know that we have been going on for a while, so I'll try to be brief. I want to address three main points. First, I want to talk about the probable cause. After that, I indicated earlier, I just want to respond to something the government said about the operation of the JDA here. And then finally, I want to talk about the conditions of bond package we are going to propose. So first, I don't think I fully anticipate your question when you asked about why you needed to make a probable cause hearing. So I just want to be clear about probable cause finding. I want to be clear about why I think it is appropriate here. I am not arguing that the JDA requires you to make a probable cause finding at this juncture. I think it is appropriate because of the Fourth Amendment and the Fifth Amendment due process clause. Obviously, the Bill of Rights outlines a lot of the criminal protections, but the Fourth Amendment, although frequently irrelevant to criminal prosecutions, is independent of that as to the due process clause. So if we're going to detain this individual, if we're going to seize him, I think there needs to be a showing of probable cause beforehand, and he needs to have some semblance of procedural due process before that happens. So that is why I asked you make a probable cause finding. With respect to making that probable cause finding, we've been here for a while. You've heard the government's proffer You heard Mr. Cohen's questions. I will largely rest on that. I think it is clear that there are a lot of gaps and question marks about this investigation, gaps and question marks that the government is filling with guesses and assumptions. And the court said, on that point, I guess the question to just cut to the chase about it is given the circumstantial evidence, right, of the comings and goings of the people in and out of the room, coupled with the evidence of sexual contact between your client and the victim, and coupled with the victim's phone, how it traveled during the period of time when the victim was not with the phone, which again is subject to challenge, but this is a prima facie basis. Right. Why wouldn't those three things put together amount to probable cause that and in reference, a reasonable inference can be drawn that your client A assaulted her and having assaulted her, or in the course of assaulting her asphyxiated her. Well, on the point of the sexual assault, I mean, look, there's DNA evidence. They have strong evidence to support. Obviously, we're going to reserve the rights to challenge that, but assuming for today, I mean, it's probative, right? I think they maybe have satisfied their probable cause burden of showing that intercourse took place. I don't think they satisfied the burden of showing that it was non-consensual. I mean, raise your hand if you've had sex in your underwear. Like, I mean, I think, I mean, that kid just throw him in jail. They make hay of the fact that her underwear was found inside of her vagina, although given the fact pattern before the court, the record you're dealing with, there's an universe in which it was not the intercourse that caused the presence of the semen that also caused the positioning of the underwear. What? Hold on. There's a universe in which it was not the intercourse that caused the presence of that semen that also caused the positioning of the underwear. What is he saying? Is he saying there's a world out there there's no semen, no underwear, none of this happened? In some universe, you're on drugs. That, I mean, really. A engaged in sexual intercourse only once that night. That is what I mean by it's being based on guesses and assumptions. So I don't think they make a showing of probable cause for the sexual battery, and I don't think they make a showing of probable cause for murder because excuse me, you heard on direct, right? There is a large window of opportunity where this could have happened, and there is more than one person in the room. That's crazy. Okay. I'm gonna stop there. I know it's like a bad spot, but we have like how many more pages we have? 45? Yeah. We got 45. I read for an hour and 42 minutes. I know, like, they were calling her A, and I don't like that. Like, I'm trying to call her Anna, and then they called her It. They called her It. What the I mean, some of these cases, y'all, I can't. Actually, most of them, they're like, I mean, it gets overwhelming, you know? It does. It's, like, overwhelming. And I look super dark. I've only been outside a couple of times. I hope my kitty's okay. So the mom is saying, and what I'm thinking and what I'm hearing is, you know, that the mom is staying with the dad and just kind of bye, bye, Timothy. I mean, if I was a mother, I'm not a mother, but if I was, I think I would be there for my kid. I think I'd be there for my kid. Even if in my heart I knew that he did this, like you know what I mean? Like I think that I would still be there for him. Like at least as a parent, like that's your kid. I don't know. Like you don't want to see bad in your children. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I'm not a parent, so I guess I can't really say. But my internet is slow because I saw me glitch. I wonder why it's so slow. Vincent did something over there. What did he do in here make me slow? Yes, as Anna's father, I could be with the mother. Yeah, the man that unalived my child, right? I couldn't either. Like that's what I mean. I don't understand how they're both like staying together. Like they're usually things like this tear people apart, but not for them. So I think that someone fessed up. Yeah, well, I think that they found her phone and they found like text messages and stuff like that. And I think that's how they found the other guy. Well, that's how they found the guy on the cruise ship because they were, like, texting. So, yeah, his DNA was in Anna. Um, I don't know if it was, like, from earlier or if maybe, like, when she went back to maybe I think they said she went back to the cabin at 6:35 though, but maybe it was before then, like, I don't know, the quickie, I don't know, right? But then she goes so what I'm thinking is, I'm thinking that Timothy thought that his semen would be safe. I don't know why he thought this. I think he thought, like, he was using a condom even though he didn't take it out. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think he thought that the other person's semen, that they were gonna get that maybe and go after that guy. Like, why not go after him, right? I mean, but it's insanity. Like, I'm surprised that more people aren't, like, talking about this case. Like, it seems like, everybody is, like, so into a case, like, until, like, the person's arrested, and then everyone's like, everyone pieces out. And that's, like, the best part is what after the arrest, because then we get, like, all of the juicy stuff. We get to know exactly what happened, not what we've been thinking. We get to know, like, the Google searches. They always be Google searching. They always have the best Google searches. We had one guy that killed his wife. He put in a Google search, how to kill a 120-pound woman, or like a medication, will it kill a 120-pound woman? I was like, "Oh my goodness." Cray cray. I don't think Anna would have been charged because of the age if it was consensual. I think that I don't think they would have charged with for that, but I'm I don't think I've ever been like, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep my underwear on." Oh, like, I mean, man, it's just sad. It's just sad, like, she went on this, she's supposed to go be on this cruise. She was taking all these, like, she took, like, a TikTok with her grandfather thing that was in the background and just supposed to be having fun. Like, you're 18 years old. Like, that is when you are supposed to be having the best time, right? Like, when you turn 18, you're like, I ain't doing nothing. I ain't got to listen to you no more. I'm just kidding. I listened to my parents were told they passed away. But no, like, you get to, like, go buy a pack of cigarettes. That's what we used to do when we were 18. I don't smoke anymore, and it's 21 now, but you used to be 18. I don't know what we did, but we did fun things, like, I mean, I'm not smoking, but we did things when we were 18. That's just like when your life's beginning, like, it's really sad. So we'll finish this up tomorrow. I might come on during the day. Is tomorrow Sunday? Yeah, Sunday. I keep thinking today's Sunday. I'll come on during the day. I haven't been in here since the 27th, obviously, because I haven't changed my blocks. It's the 30th. So let's give away some memberships because I forgot to do that. I want to do that because we have like 5 to give away. Oh, Chasing's on. Damn her. I want to listen. Mhm. I think that I like her voice. Okay. What was I going to? Oh, yeah, memberships. Yeah, I really wanna try those Rode, eye masks, like, but they're sold out. Everybody's, like, wearing them, and I wanna try. I like trying trendy things sometimes just to, like, try them and, like, then I can do a video and tell you if they're good. Turn me off there. I don't even know if this is, like, the best way to do it, but it's the way I do it. Okay, so make sure you hit the like button, you subscribe to the channel, all those things. I'm gonna send out 5 memberships, gift out 5. And our memberships are very low on this channel. It's only $1.99. I have the lowest memberships. I tried to be a member of a couple people's channels, and I pushed that membership button and it was like $4.99. I was like, "Oh, hell to the no." Not if I'm not I mean, if I'm not getting anything out of it. Like, if you're getting something out of it, or if you really like the creator, then hell yeah, do it. But, like, I don't know, like, that's just a lot right now. I feel like we're all struggling, you know what I mean? I feel like we all are. I mean, I don't know. Gas is crazy. I got like 7 cents off gas the other day. I was like, I put in Vincent's phone number, didn't even know he had a Speedy reward card. I was like, that's what's up. Okay. So they should go out. Let's see who got them. So, okay, I can't say that. Cognizant crime. I'm Miss U Booker. Or Carrie Ann. I don't even know these people. Tisha and Karen Sharp. Get on in here, guys. Get on in here. You just gotta give the membership. Get on in here and hit that like button. Yeah. That's funny. Astrospace, where are you from? And welcome, yeah, welcome new members. I do want to do a members live. I want to do a couple of them actually. I want to do one on the other channel as well. I don't have that many members over there, but I need to get some more. Need to work on that. And then do some fun content. I want to do like giveaways. I want to do I have so much stuff in my it's in my head. It's in my books. Just I need my man. I need him to hook this contraption up that he got me. It's like so cool. I can't wait to use it. But it's like he's been so busy. He's working tonight, so I'll ask him to do it tomorrow. I think he just has to wire it, and like when he wires something, like it's gonna be pretty. It's gonna look nice. Has anybody been watching anything from CrimeCon? Anybody like at Wild Now at CrimeCon? I'm not watching. I should go check the live tab. Let's see. So we have nobody. Never mind, nobody's there. I think that everyday OJ's there. Did you notice, like, I love seeing people in person with like that, like, more in person, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, when you're at home, you have the lighting, and I don't know, like, I don't know, people just look a little different, like, when you see them in person. It's really cool to see people in person. I would love to see some of you guys in person. That would be really fun. I think it was the same night. Or if it wasn't, it was the night prior and maybe she just didn't take a shower, but she was on a cruise ship, so I think she would be swimming and stuff. I don't know how long that, stays and stays. Man. Oh, thanks, Ladybug, for saying all the members' names. Welcome on in. Yeah, so I wanted to do my pre-recorded, so I'll be starting those soon after he wires this bad boy up. If he don't wire it up soon, I'll wire it up. I got all the cables down here on the floor. You can't see them because it's so dark, but and then Raya's over here she's on a poor blanket, look. Because Rocky was sleeping with Mia, and I was so surprised that the beds are stacked over here. Vincent must have did something, stacked them. And they were laying together, the cat and the big dog, and they never lay together. And then the cat got sick. I think it's because he's been eating kitten food. He's been being crazy. So, well, I guess I'll jump off of here. If you guys missed the live over on Unfiltered with Tanya, you could always check that out. It's always a good time over there. What else? Anything else? I missed you guys. I said this in the other chat, but I'll say it over here too. I appreciate you guys. Like, I appreciate you guys so much. I don't know, like the last couple of months, I said this on the other channel. The last couple of months, I felt like maybe I was doing something wrong. Like my numbers haven't been as high, like things like that. And I just worry, I mean, because everybody, needs to work and, do make money and everything. But when I looked at my comment section today, like y'all are the best. Like, not only do you go off of this live, right? You wait for this live to upload and then you go and comment. Like that is and you guys know that's like the best thing for my channel. And like you guys go and do that for me. And you guys leave the sweetest comments, like the sweetest freaking comments. Like, I mean, I was just going through them and like you guys were just saying like, congratulations on your surgery and stuff about Tessie and stuff about, just you guys just know me and I don't know. I know that there's a core group of people here that love me and and I care about you guys so much. So that is more than that's better than 1,000 people that are in a chat that are just there to hate somebody or you know what I mean? Like I would much rather just have a really cool chilled out chat. So I appreciate you guys. I wanted to say that. You guys, I was tearing up. I was about to cry when I was reading the messages. They were just so nice. Like you guys were just like, I appreciate you and great video and I don't know, just stuff like that. So I wanted to say thank you. I know the babies are all here. Yeah, Mia, Raya, Rocky, up and Tessie. Oh, they were all in here, but I kicked Rocky and Tessie out. Now the dogs are in here sleeping, so I'm gonna go, maybe I'll take them. I don't wanna take them on walks, it's dark. I'm gonna call Vincent, see when he's gonna be home so he can take them on a walk. Thanks, Monchi. This case is disturbing. Thank you for the 199. Look at your dog. I love that dog. I can just picture the dog, like, in a shopping cart, hanging out. I know. I know, Ladybug, I know. I don't know what's going on. It's, like, weird. I think it I don't know. I could do, like, Idaho 4 stuff every night and, like, get people to come in here, but it's just, like, it's not new stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But actually, there is something new, Idaho 4. Nancy dropped a podcast the other day and didn't even put it onto the YouTubes. So, I think what we'll do tomorrow is maybe we'll do both. Maybe we'll, like, read these and then we'll do, like, another live or something. Or maybe we'll do the Nancy live tomorrow and then, finish this document on Friday or on Monday. Because yeah, she came out with a new video, I guess, because like the Gonzalez's are fighting, trying to get like they're trying to sue the university or whatever. So you guys are so sweet. But yeah, thank you guys for being here every night. I appreciate it. Like, because it's like every night usually. Well, not every night. I've been doing more relaxing. I've been sleeping more. It's 9:37. I need to get to bed. Yeah, I need to get to bed. I need to eat. I need to get to bed. I need to work out tomorrow. Oh, I should have showed you my new shoes. I got some really nice new shoes. Well, I have the worst feet. I have metal. It sucks. I went to the store. They had me stand on this thing and everything, and then Vincent ordered them. And they came in today, and they're all white, and they're so pretty. And they're like, I'm only using them in the gym. I don't even walk outside with them. They're just so pretty. I hate when my shoes get dirty. So, oh, I love you too, Ladybug. Thank you for being here. Thanks for being my little ladybug. I look up to you. I do. So I appreciate you guys, all of you guys being here every night. So I'm gonna jump off here. Everybody have a good night. I don't really think I have anything else to tell you. I'm just gonna come on tomorrow. We're gonna have a great live. So make sure your bell icon is alerted. Make sure you're subscribed. We're trying to hit 25,000 subscribers because once we do, I was telling people earlier, this is getting switched out. We're gonna get a silver band. I'm doing gifts for, if I get more subscribers. So we got to hit 25,000 because I'm ready to take off this sporty one. But thank you guys all for being here. I appreciate it so much. I needed a heart and like matcha cheese thing. So thank you guys so much. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Have a good night. Bye, guys. I see the aimless, I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory, yeah. Don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring. My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.